comes in with a triple. He's just going to kill his own teammate, but it doesn't really matter right now.
Jones just still going. He finds 3 as well. Might do the smoke and finds 2. That might just be it for EU's finest. Disgusting from Dragons. Lovely stuff from Sergio. Oh my god. Saki, TJ, and Breaker, you'll go back to the respawn. Oh my god. Breaker finds 3. TJ just finds 3 massive kills for his team.
Welcome back to the EU Gears Pro League here from London. My name is Tony and I'm here with Fru. And that's pretty much what we expected in that previous game to a point. You know, we expected EU's finest to win 2-0. OB Alliance didn't win round 9. I mean, you know, everything's sunny. That's what usually happens.
Yeah, that's it. The universe has realigned itself. Honestly,
yes.
OB, good showing in that second map.
Yeah, you know what? We did give them some stick because of how they lost it and, you know, the fact that they were 4-2 up. I think rightfully so, but at the same time, they definitely pushed them further than we thought they would.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. EU's finest in the end. Yeah, they came back. They did what they always do, and they found a way. But hopefully that is a sign at least of things to come, round 9s and exciting games, because this next one should be an interesting one.
Yeah, Regal Reserve going up against Rated R. Now, let's talk about Regal first, because these guys in San Diego obviously outplaced EU's finest. They're a very, very strong team.
Yep.
But they just can't seem to get their number in the Pro League. It has to be said.
Yeah.
Do you still think, and then this is a mixed opinion from a lot of people, that that it wasn't just a random win against EU's finest, but it definitely didn't put them at the very top of Europe quite yet, did it?
No, not quite. No,
it has to be consistent.
It has to be a consistent thing. They haven't particularly shown that consistency, having lost to EU's finest already. But the one thing I will say is, for this group of players, you see them on screen right now, they are a team that seems to perform better at live events, at LAN events, than online. Historically, that's always been the case for any team that these players have been on, Fractures and Cougars as well. They've come from separate rosters in the past, but they were also always that LAN performant team.
I mean, we can maybe give them a little bit of a break in terms of that. They are playing from different countries, of course, as well, which will make a difference to a point. When you're playing online, location does make a difference. I remember playing online in any game. If you go up against somebody French or Spanish, sometimes depending on the game, they have an advantage or a disadvantage. Depending on the connection, etc., etc. So obviously things aren't the easiest to work out. But on the other side of things, Rated R also have that problem to a point. So who knows which way this one's going to go. Rated R, though, week number 1, we looked at them. We thought, wow, they looked really good against Obey. Last week, though, against EU's finest, things not quite as good as we thought they would be.
We looked at them and went, wow, this is the same Rated R that we saw in the first in the full quarter.
Very first round of both maps was great.
Yep,
fantastic. But then the rest of the rounds were not so good.
Yeah, but they're one of those rosters that when they're on fire, they've got the talent there to really be able to compete at that top level. Marsh, having been there himself, Dragons, in previous titles, has been a very, very good player as well, and Strikers and Slazen have always been up there. So it's definitely not an amateur roster by any means. And against Regal Reserve, I actually think they match up pretty well.
Yeah, well, let's see how this one does go. I'm curious to which way these picks and bans have went, because I think this is probably the closest game on our Pro League calendar here in Europe. It has to be said. Looking at these two teams, hard to say which one is definitely better at this point online. Well, you said that have you got your own opinion?
No, I just saw the picks and bans come up.
Oh, okay. You see, I was looking at you.
But I'll keep us on track.
Yeah,
no. To answer your question though, yes, I believe Regal Reserve is the better team currently. But for me, that's. It's still on thin ground, thin ice. It's one of those things that could be shaken up today. And honestly, if Rated R are performing well, I can see them actually walking through Regal Reserve just with how the teams are playing right now.
Yeah. So Asylum going for Rated R, that's no surprise. We've seen Regal be pretty good at Asylum throughout the whole Pro League.
They always pick it, right?
Exhibit gone for Regal, not too surprised after last week against the EU's finest.
You know what? I'm surprised at that.
Are you?
Because it was Rated R that got destroyed by EU's finest.
Correct.
So I am pretty not disappointed. That'd be the wrong word, but pretty intrigued as to why that came through there. Because I was not a fan of Rated R on Exhibit ads, whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's one of those. Maybe they just don't want to play it if you're Regal Reserve. Vasgar then picked by them. District picked by Rated R. Those picks, pretty standard for these two teams. Icebound gone from Rated R.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't say it surprises me, but it's you know, it's probably going to possibly get banned out by Regal anyway. Training grounds then goes, so we go to bunker, which I don't really know which way bunker would go. I think it's quite a hard one to predict.
I mean, you know, Regal, they managed to grind out that win against Obey on bunker.
Yeah.
And kind of given how Rated R play, they also are in a very aggressive team, right?
Yeah.
Having seen Regal absorb a bit of that pressure against Obey and come back, I kind of feel it suits Regal, but you know they can't let Rated R get on their slaying game.
Well, in any map, right? It's one of these things. If Rated R really get going, start moving quick, flying around the map, finding these kills, then they are quite an unstoppable beast at times. But I'm gonna. We've got all the information we need now.
I think so.
Are you still leaning Regal?
I am still, but I will say I think maybe a 2-1 this time around. I think it might be our our first.
Think we'll see our first map 3?
I hope so. I think this would be a good series to see it in. And honestly, given the teams, given their history, I don't think it'd be too out there to say a 2-1 would be on the cards.
I mean, we've got players on both sides of things going up against former teammates, etc., etc. So it does mean a lot. But let's have a look at the two players we really want to keep an eye on in this game: Slazen and Cougars. KDA-wise, not putting up anything too crazy, but these two guys, obviously, changes coming in, they've been good in the winter quarter for their teams, though.
Yes, yeah, they've both been good. I mean, they are both the kind of second place player on both teams right now, so that's kind of why they're matching up. We've seen Marsh, we have seen Zorkos, who are the first players. For me, it's about let's have a look at the depth of these rosters now. Let's see where the weaknesses lie. And honestly, these two players, they're not the weaknesses. These are two very well performing players. And KDA wise, they're both up there. Cougars slightly behind. But that objective game as well is both a bit up and down, both in the caps and breaks for both players. So I think there's a close matchup between these two.
Yep.
I think they both can have a very big impact on their game depending on how they're playing, and they'll be exciting players to watch up against each other.
Well, I mean, that's just the thing, though. You look at these stats and you know how close this one's going to be. You see how close these two players were picked out. It's pretty much the same across the board. That everybody is fairly well matched. So it is an interesting one. I think Vanguard to start as well. Because I'm sort of trying to think of my predictions now. I really don't know. I think I'm going to go with Regal 2-1 as well, in all fairness. I think they'll win Vasgar. I think they'll lose District. And I think they'll win Bunker. I just think when you think of rotation, etc., you think more about these methodical teams like Regal Reserves, who are very, very good at playing this escalation, etc. But when it comes down to Rated R, their power for me lies in the fly through you as quickly as possible route.
That's why I will diverge a little bit from what you're saying. I would say Rated R will go through and win Vasgar first.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's very easy just to kind of spin around that
just
map.
like circle around. Yeah. We've seen Obey do it previously as well, but I think if Regal can get set up, that's when the problem potentially comes through.
Yep, and it's an if, right? It is an if. If they manage it,
maybes and buts.
Then maybe they shut Rated R down. But for me, it would be the other way. I would see actually the teams winning each other's maps. In the reverse, and then also that map 3 going Regal's way. But we'll see. It could go anyway. It could be 2-0. Could be whatever. Really. I mean, it's
who knows?
Up to the players at the end of the day, right? And we'll get into it very shortly.
And I think that's one thing is if Rated R, I don't feel like we've seen them turn up last week.
No, I don't think so either.
I think they were going against EU's finest, but I just still don't think they played as well as they could have.
No.
And if they play the same way, this could be over relatively quick because Regal, I think, are very consistent for the most part in terms of their level of performance. They're inconsistent against the EU's finest, but in terms of where they usually are against everybody else, they put up a solid game. So hopefully they can bring that sort of level once again. I can see everybody's in there. We're about to load into the map. We're all happy and ready to go. I'm okay. I'm still going to go Regal, Rated R, Regal. So 2-1 Regal. Yeah, flip maps.
That's fair.
Just on a whim.
Yeah.
Who knows if what I said made sense?
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Good.
I mean, we'll see it the other way around. There's the maps for you. Vasgar, District, Bunker, the 1, 2, 3. I mean, if we do get to that map 3, it'd be interesting to see. Obviously, we've seen both the latter 2 maps played by these teams so far. But, yeah, I think for me with Vasgar, specifically, it is about that quickness to the fights, and it's about how easy it is to get from one fight to the other. And the very first week, the one thing I remember thinking about Rated R and their gameplay against Obey was just how quick they were to the kills on Obey.
Pacey.
And the one thing that makes me think this might be a good map for them against Regal is Regal are right at the bottom in terms of deaths. Like they have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 in terms of the most deaths in the league, and realistically, like that's with Rated R having a pretty rough game. You know, against. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. It just feels like those things added together can equal a very one-sided game.
Okay.
Especially on this map. But I don't know. It's waffling at this moment, right? We got to see how the teams
just waiting for the game to load on. That's all it is.
We've got to see how the teams start to play out. The game starts to play out, and we'll see. We'll find out very soon. As you can see, no teams played on this map, so no prior evidence as to how this is going to play out.
No, outside of obviously the first season, we had the fall quarter, but these rosters have changed. The game's changed
Quite considerably as well.
Yep. So, you know, we have to somewhat forget about those. I think you can bring them in, but then it's just like, well, how much do they really matter? But what matters at the end of this one is who gets this dub and will secure themselves a second place finish at the halfway point of the winter quarter. And we'll have a definitive 1, 2, 3, and 4 by the end of this one through.
Yeah, you'd think so. Just having a quick look here from Zorkos' point of view. Just holding up at the top here. We do see Slazin, Dragons clutching up, and this is that kill train that we've talked about ever so slightly. Slazin does get in there, does manage to stop that domination.
Well, can he do anything about this one? Not quite. Physics and code though. Trying to get back into this one. They get B and C. Don't look too bad for them now. Slazin still going here as well. He was the one that stopped this for being a Regal reserve round. And he's kept on going here for it.
Yeah, he has. He's done pretty well. Points are pretty even still as well, even given that almost domination. So still things panning out early as the flashbang comes in now from Slazin, just delaying the Regal reserve push.
And this is something from Rated R we don't see very often, them sitting back, waiting for the fights to come. But look, we can already see Martian Cup making the rotation around towards B. It's a good play. I mean, Slazin's just basically commit suicide there.
Yep.
Don't really see why he did that, in fairness. But I mean, it's Rated R, let's be honest. They do like to fly.
Yeah, we saw that quite a lot against the EU's finest actually last week, where we saw situations that emerged from you know, you have to say it, dumb plays.
Yeah.
That they weren't making the correct decisions. And
it's just one of those, like, what are you expecting? To kill 3 of them on your own? Like, it's just a...
Even if you trade out, you're trading out on the back foot, which means they're going to kind of continue that steam, right? And in the end, sometimes it's just better just giving up on that play, right? Getting back to your team, finding another ring to maybe fight and play over Reader. Just got taken out. Reader right at the bottom of our KDA leaderboard right now, just hovering above 1.0. So
you know, he
didn't
have a great start last season either, did he? He picked it up if I remember rightly, but
it was just after we called him out for it actually. So
well, Rated R looking like they're going to get this one done. Zorkos not in a position to do anything about it, but on the other side of the map, his team are. Zorkos will drop, but the respawns are going to come through. Are they going to be enough? He tried to bait him into it, but Reader this time will somewhat pad his stats. It's 2 very, very easy kills. Trying to pick it up, the elimination nearly ticking on through, not quite going to happen. A elongated round here, but Rated are the ones in control of this as they do have the lead, but right now they have nothing getting them points. C has been captured, or will be captured by Regal Reserve on the back of the respawn, so they need to go through A here. Not getting any points, but they may be getting loads of points in a second. A and B going in their favor now. As the gunfights are won across the map. Is this looking like a Rated R round in the first? Grinding this one out, looking like it will be. Regal Reserve now made the push over towards B, but they also need to probably get a hold of A here. I don't think a 2-cap will be enough. It will not. Absolutely not. You need to be a lot closer for that one. This is going to be a Rated R round. Really good stuff by them to keep a hold of those 2 points. 1-0 now to Rated R.
Yep, and you know,
weird round.
It was a very weird round, and there was a fundamental mistake by Regal Reserve at the end there. And they were a second or so away from elimination victory. Marsh spawned up on his own, and Regal Reserve just ignored him. They let him spawn up, they let him come out of spawn. They gave him 4 or 5 seconds before his team were up behind him, and they went to cap that A hill instead. And if they'd have turned, they had a 3v1 on Marsh. They could have killed him and got the elimination victory in just a second. And that will be a stinger if this comes down to the wire, because that definitely should have gone in Regal Reserve's favour.
Well, Rated R, as I said, they grind it out. And it has to be said, it's not the type of round we ever see Rated R really win, is it?
No,
Rated
not
R
really.
usually like bang, 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 round one. It's like...
Yeah, all lost.
all lost. Yes, it can definitely go in that direction.
Yeah. But it is all, exit a basket and lob it at the opponent. And it's a difficult one for Regal Reserve to change that mentality, to change the way they play the game, because, with strikers coming in, with Marsh coming in, sorry, there will be new opinions on that team, right?
Yeah,
about how you win a round, how you win a game.
Nah.
I mean,
just keep up the pace. Right now, though, it's not going in their favor. As Rita and Cougars are going to find kills. 2 now for Rated R. About to come back up. Rita in a bad spot.
Yep.
Will be dropped. Dragons, is he going to be able to clean this up? Not quite. Can't get the shots into Fractures, though. Will clean this one up. Eventually will be killed by Rita as well, but the supporting fire coming in for Rated R up top is very, very good. And look at this pinch coming in from C as well. Marsh has played that so well. Fantastic work by Rated R. They get a hold of C. They may lose A here, but really, really good job by Rated R there.
Yeah, that was a fantastic route through the middle there, just to get on behind Regal. Fantastic Lancer as well to take out Rita. And already Zorkos down 1 life. We said it, before. Regal, they like to die. Honestly, they play the map well. They play rounds well and they scrape out wins, but they don't half like to die.
Well, gunfight going on here. It's looking like it's going in the favor of Regal. I say that as Dragons and Pains combine together to pick up 2. Dragons is dropped, but here comes the help as well. Zorkos, can he clean this one up? Yes, he can.
Nice.
Cougars gets the others as well. That's Regal Reserve now in control of this one. They will get a hold of B, but they lose A, and it's just ringing around the rosy here. Rated R just about seemingly getting the better of them in the past 30 seconds, so Marsh did not quite capture A there. Maybe waiting on this team coming to help him out. Regal Reserve are the ones in the lead here. But it's looking like Rated R, they're most likely to pick up a 2 cap for some amount of time. Pains is going to get a hold of that flash off the rip, so hopefully can help his team with that in a second, but Rated R holding on to A after capturing it there.
Yep, Marsh getting away, skin of his teeth there, about 2% health as he does manage to get himself back out alive. Push going to come in from Regal though. Flashbang's down, Fractures leading the charge. Striker's going to take out Rita. Going to take out Fractures and Physics as well, and that's a very, very good fight for Regal Reserve. And now you got to think Zorkos might be in a bad situation. Nope, there's the up A, there's one, looking for 2. Just get a few shots down. About 10 pellets hit or so. And Zorkos, that's the experience there, just understanding the routes that Regal Rated R will take through the map. Manages to get a couple of kills, stave off that push in the end. Good Lancer angle there as well from Zorkos, but Pains has managed to kill Cougars. Zorkos just running around in circles at the moment. Left Rita to fight on his own. Marsh going to fall in the end. Striker's trying to get some damage down. Fractures doing his best here now to try and get this cap. Rita misses another back A. Fractures is going to save him though. Regal Reserve going to walk out. Honestly, look at the just look at the left-hand side. 0 deaths across the board. 0 I mean, look at the right as well. 0.
I just...
Did we expect anything different? I don't think we should have.
No, I don't think we did, but it will be a Rated R round in the end. With not many lives left on the board, so these next 2 rounds should be very, very interesting. I'm not quite sure how... I mean, the KDA is coming in from Rated R there.
I mean,
Matt will be doing his nut. You've pulled that up while the scoreboard's there, by the way. It's send away.
We can see the scoreboard at any time.
Yeah, but
there you go. There you go.
Matt hasn't said anything, but...
What do you want to say about the scoreboard?
Yeah, the hands are in there. He doesn't know. Do what you want. Doesn't care.
Whatever you want now. You give me this stream deck. This is what's happening. It's coming up when it wants, when I want. But no, we do look at the KDAs there. All of them pretty much bang average or below, and that's because they die a lot on the Rated R side. Wait till we see the Regal Reserve side in a minute, because you're going to love this one as well. We've not even seen the weapon placement. Shot grenades all around. It's all going sideways, all going pear-shaped.
You're right, mate.
We'll get there. I've caught whatever you had in the first map.
Yeah, God. Lacklusterness. Yeah. Oh.
Well, Slazer's doing alright at least. 15-5.
Come on, Slazen. Show us what you got, pal. Plenty of people dropping here already in this game. The lives are low. Let's see if we find ourselves getting into these crazy end of rounds. Big Fight going to go over towards B. It is going to be rated R in control once again, though. I think you were right on the front of just the pace that they can set around the map. They're just very well aware of what's going on. The rotations are on point, and, you know, maybe sometimes it's not necessarily, you know, the smarts coming out or anything, just aggression consistently on this map seems to work out for a lot of people. But Marsh is going to get a kill and back on down and get back with the rest of his team here to try and set up.
Yeah, and that's it. That's exactly what they've done. They've set up. They're holding a very, very good position. You can see it at the bottom left of the minimap there.
That's a bad flash grenade, though. That would have probably helped out Dragons, although... Oh my god, he does not need it. Everybody falling to rated R here, who suddenly just flicker switch as they so often do. Zorkos in the worst position possible.
Yep.
Lancer down by everybody on rated R who have kept on rolling. This should be a round to them. I do not see any way possible that they even spawn back in. They don't. And that will be the round. Rated R flying through Regal Reserve here.
Yep. Yeah, fantastic round for Rated R. And they really are. They're playing this at an exceptional pace. The kills and deaths, yeah, they're reasonably even across the board, quite honestly. Only Slazen really a standout there. I see what they go in terms of weapons. It is up to Slazen to place first. Cougar's going to be able to reply. The M-bar goes down on one side. Are we going to see the reply? Yeah, we are. So M-bar versus M-bar now. That changes this map up considerably. Very low in terms of cover, this map, so very, very easy to pick off people with that M-bar.
Well, can it change anything for Regal Reserve? Because they do need to change something. Oh, line him up. Hits him as well. Physics. Merely a flesh wound, unfortunately, for Dragons. He's good with this Dragons, isn't he?
He's very good. He just needs someone on his team to be shooting a pistol, you know.
Yeah, just tickle him with it.
Yeah, and they might be able to get a kill or two. Strikers gets one couple of kills. No, they don't need it. That's the thing. They can... Ooh, I was going to say they could switch, but...
Well, Physics is going to drop one.
Yep.
Dragons pulls it out. He wants it. There, Fractures. Okay. Now very, very weak, but not weak enough, unfortunately. And then Zorkos is going to find one. Dragons just starts going. He's finding two here as well. Can he do this all on his own? Surely not. Zorkos pin him down. Can anybody pin Dragons down? He's breathing fire across the map. What's going on here? Through there's three. Go on. Just give him the fourth at this point as well. Strikers comes in, spoils the party for everybody. But Dragons absolutely ruining Regal Reserve there in round number 4. That's 4-0. Oh my good God.
What a play. That was a fact. I mean, that's a highlight play right there for Dragons, but just his team around him didn't need to do anything. They were just, no, we'll triple cap round you. Don't worry, mate. You carry on.
Absolute beast.
You carry on. Fantastic play. And, you know, if he had a little bit of support and fire as well, he might have got 2 M-bar kills as well to add to that tally. So
he couldn't have done any more in that round, in fairness.
Hit everything. What a guy. Fantastic plays. And, you know, he's always an exciting player to watch. You mentioned it when he picked up that M-bar. He's got a lot of kills in the past with that, both online at LAN and especially in the Pro League as well. He's kind of come into his own. He's been a fantastic player for Rated R. 4-0 now. This is not the scoreline I think I expected, even though I thought Rated R might come through with this. I didn't think it'd be in this fashion.
Well, one round away, yeah, from putting Regal Reserve to the sword. Dragons, he doesn't miss with this. Good Lord. One bullet into Rita and he's gone. Dragons flash comes through. It's going to be hard for Rita to capture here. The way that Dragons is feeling about this now. Oh, he's choosing not to pull the trigger. He will have to run away as well as Zorkos is there to help. Bar out once again. Rita needs to find his kill on the Strikers. Really, he will do. Dragons pushing it in the middle of everybody is going to find
the
one kill.
Worth it?
I'm not too sure it was.
No, me neither. I kind of feel like...
I mean, luckily for him, Rated R actually got a hold of D and F while all that has went on.
Yeah.
But you know what? I respect it.
Yeah, maybe after the last round.
It's just like, well, yeah, just
think,
give me more kills.
If I get 1, I'm even. If I get 2...
Feed me.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, 4 members of Regal Reserve now pushing up towards D. Pains though. Surprise. Going to try and get around behind, but unfortunately for him, Slazen and Co. do go down. And we'll have to back on down. Marsh now going to die over towards E. That's going to be traded out by Dragons though. Who else? Can imagine he's going to absolutely fly at these 2 players. Let's see if he can get anything going. They're just going to keep him at arm's length as best they can. He's maybe just going to try and get away there by looks of things, but he's already been dropped, so unfortunately can't keep things going. But Regal Reserve now are behind, but in control of this round.
Yeah, just having a look at what Paynes is going to do with this M-bar. His first attempt at this weapon, so...
Yeah, well, he'll do well to hit as many shots as Dragons has been hitting.
You went wrong there.
See the transition coming in there now.
There is opportunity, but just no bullets being fired across the map, to be quite honest.
You just got to hit them in the head and you don't need to worry about that.
Well, let's see if he can do it.
Not quite land the shot, and the Cougars. Oh, the second died that. So E now is going to go into control of Regal Reserve, but looking at this fight over towards F, that is going to go in their favour as well. Here comes the flash, the pushback coming in from Rated Art. The other one's still in the lead. Slazen's going to find Zorkos. The shot's coming through. The kill's just about coming through for Rated R here. Marsh is the one cleaning up these trades. Regal have to hold on here. They are capturing other points on the other side of the map, but Dragons, as he so often does, just getting things done. And wow. Rated R, you've really bodied my prediction of a Regal Reserve map #1 win. That is as clean as you could possibly like. Dragons. What a performance out of him, and that was very fast.
Yeah, that was much more week 1 Rated R than it was week 2.
Yeah,
and
that was... I mean,
it was snippy.
You know what?
It was good.
As a caster, it's hard to break these sort of things down because, I mean, they just sort of like, not in the fashion that EU's finest sort of do things, which is like, I don't want to say they grind results out, but they quite often go up to that final point mark, of course, where they have just sort of beat up the opposition the whole round, whereas that was just kill after kill after kill, capture. It was just easy for Rated R in that game.
Yeah, that's it. The team fights go their way. They're connecting with... I mean, you saw Dragons as well. It always helps when you've got someone going off like that on your team.
It didn't take long.
No, not at all. Hopefully we get map 3 so we can collect the paycheck.
Hey, you could be home by 9 o'clock at this rate.
No, I don't want that. I want to see that map 3. Honestly, District Bunker
I apologise to Fru's girlfriend who will be listening at home. You just heard that he wants to stay here with me and not come home, so...
They feed me here. I mean
Does she not feed you at home?
No, she's good. But enough.
Sorry, I've distracted you.
I'm in.
I'm throwing you under the bus at this point.
I'm not going home today. I'm staying here. But they did do well. They did have a good set of fights. Did Rated R.
Yeah.
And honestly, they do hit their shots when they need to.
They don't miss.
They were quicker to the punch most of the time, and in the end, Regal just died. I say it week in, week out.
They were very flat, weren't they? Like nothing really. Nobody popped off at any point. No, it was never. They just lost like nearly every gunfight. Yep. And then on the other side of things, what I will say, what makes it very difficult is when Dragons is not missing M-bar shots. So I mean, you're already 99% dead at this point. So I was like, well, I can't really push here now. And now it's Dragons flying at everybody and not missing shots. And suddenly he's picked up 3 kills on his own when we're in a 3v1 and we're lost around. My head's gone, and suddenly things start to spiral out of control. And I mean, what do you do for your Regal Reserve other than chalk that one up and say, right, okay, let's move on to the next map?
That's it, isn't it? You throw it in the bucket and you think, well, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. Let's have a look at District and see what we can do there. Yeah. It was, a map that I thought Rated R might have had, a good chance on. They did come out. They won Vascar.
Yeah.
District, have said, would have gone in Regal's favour.
I said Rated R, but the way that things were going in there, I think my prediction for this map is going to be right.
I think you might be right.
The previous one was completely wrong. So
I agree. I'm starting to worry a little bit for my 2-1 because that was very, very one-sided.
It's one of those where if Rated R taking a close game, you're sort of like, well, okay, yeah, it was close. Regal Reserve absolutely can be in this game, but they just didn't seem to be shooting back for the most part there, and that is the concern, isn't it? It is at this point. So
it's a huge concern for them, not just now, but for the rest of the Pro League, because it's been a consistent trend, quite honestly. Yeah. They've let a lot of teams rack up multiple rounds in a row against them quite often, and it's difficult to come back when you're just getting round upon round against you. It's demoralising, to be honest with you.
100%.
And no one wants to lose 5-0. We saw some disgusting 5-0s in the North American Pro League yesterday. Ex-NRG lost 2 maps 5-0. They did win one 5-1 as well.
Ex-NRG now as well. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's not good in terms of for your team, for your team mental health. It's just a difficult situation to be in, coming down 5-0 and then having to go on and play another map that that is the opposition's pick. Like it's a tough one, that's for sure. But Regal Reserve, they've bounced back before. I'm sure they'll do it many times again. It's just whether or not they can do it right now on District. We'll see.
They're going to have to do it pretty quickly, aren't they? I can see we're about to load in a second as well. All the players are pretty much in the lobby, I think. Can't quite see it. But we're nearly ready to go at this point anyway. You thinking this is 2-0 now?
I feel bad if I flip-flop my prediction. I feel worse if I flip-flop and then Regal Reserve go on to win 2-1.
You know what? I'm going to flip-flop.
You are?
Yeah. I'm going to stay with my prediction of Rated R winning this map. So I'm sort of I'm
Oh, I
half
see.
right.
I'm
Well,
not going to flip-flop,
right.
but I'm going to change my prediction.
No, because I predicted Rated R to win this map. I just didn't think they'd win the first one. So
I
now
don't know, chat. I'm not sure if that's...
my change makes sense in my head.
All right, we'll leave that to the verdict of the audience, but I think that's a flip-flop, a half flip-flop. Just a flip.
Right, this is my show, okay?
What are you going to ask me, what am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm going to flip-flop as well, because I think after that, Rated R,
Yeah,
I think they look good.
Yeah,
I think they're very good.
You know, if this Rated R comes in against EU's finest last week, then we can sort of be like, well, you know, maybe we would have got a game on our hands. But I really don't think they showed up. I don't know if I don't want to say it's the occasion. You know, they play probably games week in, week out. They should be used to playing in these scenarios, but maybe just didn't rise to the EU's finest task. But this is how this game is going to break down. The first map, it was over so fast that I blinked and it was gone. District now coming up. We may see Bunker if Regal Reserve can pull their finger out of their you-know-wheres. Let's see, on District, can they get something done? 100% win percentage. 100% win percentage?
Yeah,
100%
not 100 wins.
Percentage. Good Lord. It's a slow Monday today. District is what we're loading into now, though. Can Rated R get this done in 2, or can Regal Reserve force map number 3?
Oh, you saw the round win percentage, 83% for Rated R. That's a very, very good. I think that's a 5-1, isn't it? Over Obey. But it is a very strong performance in the one time that they've played this. That said, though, we have seen some good performances from Regal on this map in the past.
Yeah, Cougars are going to pick up 2 in the middle of the park as well, so helps things for them. They should be able to get a hold of B. They are going to. They did leave A, and that's maybe where they had the numbers in the middle. Dragons is just about going to defend, as he so often does when the numbers are against him. Looking over towards B, though, the Lancer Fire coming in from Dragons very, very quickly. Finds himself in a position to put Physics in a lot of trouble. He's very, very weak, and that will help the rest of his team run on through. Physics is dead, as is Zorkos. Zorkos is able to answer back there against Pains. But the damage is done. Rated R eventually get the kills. They will force on through. Dragons now in a favourable position of being down in numbers against Regal Reserve. Can't get anything done this time, though. Regal played this one much better.
Yeah, they're racking up some kills there. Fractures helping out. Cougars as well.
Yeah.
Nice little decoy jump there by Fractures.
Pain's down to 2 respawns already as well, so slow start to the round from him. He's in danger of going down to 1 as he tries to defend C, but A and C now in control of Regal Reserve. Backwards and forwards in this first round here, Fru.
It is backwards and forwards. Rated R, they have got that point lead, though. The good start, to be honest with you, has put them in a good position here going into this middle quarter of the map. Strikers finds a headshot on Cougars. Zorka's going to fall as well. 2 headshots in a row.
Strikers is just going here.
Let's jump on board, see if he can get this third as well, as he's looking for Physics, but might not be him. Physics managed to get one on Dragons. A little bit too close, perhaps, but...
Physics finding the best of a bad situation there.
That's it.
Regal Reserve now. Win condition in their favour. The lead's still just about Rated R's. Fracture's going to flash in just to slow them down. He will try and get out, but I think he'll do very, very well to do that. In all fairness, I mean, it's Zorkos that kills him in the end, but I think he was probably just doing his teammate a favour.
You kind of got to
go down.
You got to think there if if you're.
I mean, he's dead anyway.
He's in a bad spot, but if you see 3 members, of Rated R killing your teammate up at Cinema, and you're holding the bottom, and there's some coming off spawn, you kind of got to assume that someone is going to come down that mid ramp and come behind you. So move earlier. You've got about 5 seconds before anyone's really in shooting distance of you. If you can get back to that bandstand. At least that's like a nice position to be holding and waiting for
maybe
your
try and pick up a couple of kills. Yeah.
If you're stuck in the bottom there, down by the hotel, that's a very, very difficult situation to defend. And talking of difficult situation to defend.
Oh, that's a big hit on the Reader. Strikers isn't missing a bullet right now. 7-1. They've got a hold of B. The kills have come in their favour as well. These are long respawn queues, and Rated R will be allowed to garner control of the middle of the map here. They've got a hold of C. They've got a hold of B, and they've pretty much started where they left off on Vascot. Striker's just running forward. He knows that Regal Reserve have got a lot to do here. They're just going to try and keep a hold of their lives, if anything, although I'd imagine they obviously will reset at round number 4, but they want to try and keep a hold of as many of those as you can, which is difficult to do when you're playing against a Rated R in this sort of form. 3 minutes and 9 seconds it took for that first round, the first pretty long one we've seen, but Cougars, the only ones to really answer back from Regal Reserve there. Rated R walking through them there.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, 18 deaths across the board for Regal already. That's a lot of deaths in a single round.
Yeah.
And you got to be a little bit worried about your life count, even in this first half. As you said, they reset, but if you're losing all of them before end of the round 1, you got to be very, very careful.
Yep.
They got 3 respawns. They should be all right for now. Some smoke grenades going down on the map here. Hotel has one. Pagoda has one. Obviously switching up again. It's nice to see these kind of offset weapon placements, because it does mean that teams play the map, you know, in slightly different ways.
Yeah, it's when we used to see the mirror matchups so much, it's like
I think that was
you know, it's just fighting fire with fire, and sometimes there's not really much like tactical gameplay around it. It was maybe a little bit stale at times, but it's nice to see that teams are mixing it up a little bit now for their own benefit, of course, as well. Right now, though, Cougars is trying to get something done. Oh my God, how on earth has Paynes got through and found 2 kills in the middle of the map there? He's going to clean up on the fractures as well. Yeah. Really, really nice from Paynes.
I think going back to the mirror matchup discussion just for a second, I think that was a lot down to just how strong the Marxers were at the start, though. You know, it was very much. We can see Reader break. Let's have a look. Just get a toe in. Oh, just get the kill. It was very much, you know, a have to place just because of the strength of it. You know, at the start of the 4th quarter at least. So there was not much surprise that you had to kind of mirror match their Marxer with one of your own just to keep strength up. But now the weapons are in a bit of a better state, I think. And
100%.
Things are starting to be a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more flat across the board in terms of what you can place and where you can place it. You can just choose what you're comfortable with.
Strikers and Co, though, are going to get a hold of B here. C is it currently at the mercy of Regal Reserve. They should be able to pick that one up. Physics getting the kills coming in here for Regal, which they needed to do so, as ANC belongs to Rated R, who have a pretty decent lead over them and have control of 2 points.
Yep. Fracture's going to come behind Paynes here, and this is the exact same situation that we just talked about before, but in reverse this time around. This time around, Marsh is also in the corner, so 2 of them going to fall for Rated R, and again, have to start respecting the kills and the location of those kills, because otherwise you're going to get caught off guard and get pincered upon.
Rated R maybe losing C, but they've rotated over towards B, so they will maybe get a hold of that. It is actually going to be Slazen who does drop down. Just keep an eye on Cougars after 1 round. He's already on to 0 respawns, which is not good. Not good at all. He's going to have to play very, very passively. He doesn't want to find himself in a position where he's constantly fighting with very low live count. Zorkos and Fractures both also physics not far behind them. Slazen's there as well. So these guys quite happy to just fight fire with fire. But here comes Rated R, the push over towards C. It's not something they need so fast, but they're going to go fast for it anyway. Look at the shots coming in from top blue as well from Cougars. Can Rated R clean up here? They were at such a disadvantage going into this fight. Slazen and Co combining together though, and it's only Zorkos who is left. He has to back on down. Cougars is out of this round. Zorkos is about to be sent to the respawn queue as well, and Rated R flicker switch just once again. It's just so simple for them. It's so simple.
It really is. They're doing fantastic work just to find these kills, to grind out these fights. And every time they're coming out on top.
Yep.
That's the most impressive thing.
It's like the team fights, isn't it? It's not so much about these big one-on-one good fights, although it is at a point as well. But
I mean, they're winning those as well.
They're winning those too, but it's when it comes to these big team fights, they just seem to have that one-up on the trade every single time. Rated R are making this potentially one of our shortest games that we've seen here. Drop shot placed in the middle, and that was actually by Rated R as well. So they, again, are encouraging these big fights in the middle, which they just seem to win nearly every single time.
Yep. Yeah. I think, though, sometimes... I think we've said that. I kind of feel like we mentioned this before when the Regal Reserve and Obey were playing. Sometimes it is that weapon that forces Regal Reserve to actually get in there and play scrappy, to play dirty. And sometimes that does actually work out in Regal's favour, that they've got something to play for. But this time around, it seems not. It seems Rated R still have the numbers, still have the kills in their favour.
Oh, they've committed absolutely everything to this drop shot as well, though. I think that's what's caught them off guard. Payne's just rolling. So nice there. And he's going to go back, get a hold of that drop shot. They clean them out before they go back and pick up the goods that they have earned. Slazen. Nearly put one into his teammate.
That was a swarm. Yep, got to be careful there, but...
Yeah, now that he's just going to back him down, wait for this drop shot to then potentially come into play. It's going to be Paynes finding this one in green now. Dangerous position to be in with it. He's going to have to back on down. Doesn't want to drop with the drop shot.
Yep, just going to go back and defend B Hill. I think that's a good
It's a horrible push for Regal. Like, what do you do here? Because Pains can move across to here. He can cut off C. He's actually just going to pass that one over to his teammate, who's going to choose to move over towards the left-hand side to defend B with this spot.
I like that. I like that as a trade. It's a good idea.
But I actually wouldn't mind if Pains kept a hold of it where he is. He can look over towards B. He can then transition in blue over towards the bandstand side as well. It's a great position to be in with it.
The problem is if something kicks off in the far end down at the bandstand, Pains is going to be the first one to rotate, and more than likely he's going to have to get stuck in with his shotgun, just because of the route that he's in. Or he's going to have someone come shoot him in the back. So that's the only reason I like that, is just to basically puts the drop shot in a bit of a safer position.
Yeah.
And opens up Pains to just kind of get loose a little bit.
Well, Physics is not in a safe position, even remotely right now. He's got quite a few members of Rated R around him, and I tell you what, he's doing all right here, Physics. Just to get a hold of Marsh, and he will deny the domination coming through. He is going to take a meaty shot there. Pains pushes round and loses the gunfight for the first time. Physics coming up big for his team there over towards B, and that's Rated R maybe getting a little bit overzealous, but Zorkos is once again out of lives. Cougars, Fractures, not far from that either. One more time they go down. They will not be coming back in this round. Rated R now surely in a 5v4. I mean, they're doing it in a 5v5, never mind a 4v5. Zorkos is gone. Cougars and Fractures having to fight, and they are actually winning these fights over towards C. They need to win every single gunfight they now come into contact with. There we go. Rita's now going to go down as well. Cougars is dropped. This is a round Rated R, who just look unstoppable against Regal Reserve right now.
Yeah, Striker's just giving it to his old team here. They dropped him. They changed him out. They replaced him with Fractures, and well, now Strikers, he looks to be playing very, very well. 16-5 the score, but absolutely nowhere near Dragons, who's up on 24 eliminations already.
Dragons is really good.
You ain't wrong there. Pains as well. 21-4. We're gonna give him a bit of credit. 2100, 69 points there, and just leading the charge really. He's been first down in third fights. He's been doing a lot of work for his team. Let's have a look what got placed there. There's some smokes, shocks up at the top, just to help fight on this drop shot. So see how the teams use these. Zorko's going to be picking up a shot grenade. Dragons on the other side.
Oh,
here comes the
flash. The flashes. That's a wayward flash on the side of Regal Reserve as well. Cougars is just going to go in for the drop shot. Read it. He's going to drop Marsh. That late shot grenade comes through. Striker's just going against his old team, trying to get something done. Lands a decent enough shot, but can't quite get it done. This is the first time that Regal Reserve have actually seemingly answered back against Rated R.
Yep.
There's time yet, though. There's two of them still around here on top, but it's a 2v4 situation to be in. Slays in, Dragons dead. B in the hands of Regal Reserve. But for all that, Regal did commit a lot to that, as did Rated R. They only get a hold of B. Yes, okay, they get a hold of C eventually, but
they're gonna take this drop shot out as well, right? One shot left in it.
Yeah, that's a positive too, but Rated R still within the potential for a 10-0 round count here.
Yep.
I don't think we've had one of them in the EU Pro League yet.
Nope, there was one last night in the NA Pro League.
Right, okay, well, let's see then.
Perhaps we can match him. I'd rather not, to be quite honest with you. I think a 10-0
I mean, it would be something.
It's something. It's a good performance from Rated R.
Hey, I don't know. We might get you home for Love Island, yeah, pal.
Hopefully. You're not on it this season, are you?
No, man, no.
That's good. Glad. There goes the drop shot.
The drop shot comes through, slays and goes down. It's looking like a potential round for Regal Reserve, but there's plenty of time to play with yet. Strikers finds a second as well with the help of his teammate Zorkos. It's not long for this world. Cougars is already back down to 0 respawns, and this is the problem. If you look at Slazen as well, he's there as it too. But for Cougars, it's like every single round he's been teetering on the edge, and he hasn't been playing slower at all. And Rated R, the ones now getting a hold of C, and they will be in control of the map.
I mean, Regal, they're having trouble getting out their own spawn, never mind about capping a ring. This is difficult for them.
Cougars is gone once again. I don't think he's played for most of this game. Fractures also gone, now a 5v3. And this is just, they put themselves on the back foot straight from round number 1 because they grinded out to try and get a win, didn't get the round on the board, and just fell far too many times. The problem is now they don't really have time to try and rest and recuperate. You can't just say, right, let's try and have a conservative round here, see if we can get something going just to build our lives back up. Of course, we are at the halfway point, so they are going to be able to build their lives back up, but...
Yep. Honestly, what a performance from Rated R.
If you're Regal, though, you're very, very right. They like dying.
Hey,
Look at that.
I've been saying it week in, week out.
51 deaths already.
Someone got to listen to me, because yeah, they do. They die too much.
I hear some people do listen.
Occasionally. Every now and again. But honestly, they do. They die too much. It's difficult for for them to come back in games like this when
it's crazy, isn't it? Like,
you're always
I mean,
worrying.
you said at the beginning of the game, Regal Reserve die too much. Rated R are possibly, well, they are the second best slaying team in this Pro League on their day. Potentially the best fast-paced playing team in the EU Pro League. EU's Finest will argue against that for me, but I think EU's Finest all-round game is much better, obviously. But when Rated R are flying at you, there aren't many better teams at it. And, I mean, it's becoming very, very apparent that Regal like to die because they're making it very easy for Rated R and dying quite frequently at it as well. Physics is going to drop down Pains eventually, and they will once again get the drop shot. But does it really matter at this point?
I'm not sure it is. Dragons is once again trying to find another montage clip.
Does find
Perhaps
two.
the drop shot comes out. Doesn't get anything. Does damage Dragons. Dragons might fall here.
Wants to try and stay alive. The rest of his team there to support. Fractures goes down.
Yeah, he's gone.
Well, domination is denied.
Like the Dragons.
Over towards D. Cougars thankfully gets a kill on the Dragons. If that doesn't happen, we are staring down the barrel of the quickest game we've ever seen in the EU Pro League. Now, if you're Regal Reserve, at this point, yes, you're 4-0 down. Let's try and prevent the fact that you are going to possibly lose 10 rounds in a row here.
That's it. I mean, if you're Regal and you come back and win this, it's also potentially, I mean, it's a big if.
I mean, that's a big
potentially
reach.
the biggest comeback in the EU Pro League as well, so
That's a big reach.
records to be broken either way.
The biggest comeback would be if everybody dies apart from Cougars, right? 0 respawns, and then they come back.
Be true. That would be true.
I find it unlikely, though.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't put no money on that one.
Honestly, I don't think Regal Reserve are going to win around here. Rated R just seem to be on a different level right now. Slays it, nope. He's on a different place in the respawn queue. The rest of his team are alive, but it may not matter. Reader does just get away. He's going to be hunted down, though. The rest of Regal Reserve are going to be coming off spawn, so they may be able to prevent this in a second. They're going to have to make a run towards E. They are just about going to get there. And Zorkos to deny potentially the inevitable, because at this moment in time, Rated R just don't seem to be misstepping against Regal.
Good Lancer fire there from Zorkos.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, we are pulling at strings here, pulling at straws, whatever it is.
Grasping at straws, pulling at straws.
Pulling at strings I went for first, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what's
pulling
going on.
strings is different. You
Yeah.
alright?
No, I'm not.
Was
not
it the
at
Love
all.
Island comment?
I don't know where it's guys. Started weeks ago this. But what is I don't even know. I actually don't know.
What were you going to say?
I don't know. I've no
I
idea.
mean, what can we say? Rated R.
Reaching at straws.
God's sake.
Oh, I don't know.
We've descended into madness. Rated R. Looking
jeez.
so good here. Oh, there we go. Dragons is just going to stick a drop shot right in there. Fractures and Cougars going down. Is there anything they can really do about this?
Not really.
Reader. We're in round number 5. He's got 1 respawn left. Rated R have just put them
Oh boy.
to the sharpest of swords yet.
Yep. Yeah, this is.
They have battered them around each and every corner of this map.
Go on, Cougars.
Cougars, show me. I mean, nothing they can
They're not
do.
even moving, I mean,
Zorkos is gone.
They know it's done.
This one is done. That's 10
Lots
rounds
of performance
to
from Rated
0
R.
for Rated R. 5-0, 5-0 against Regal Reserve in the most one-sided game we've seen in the EU Pro League. Full stop.
Yep.
That was dominant.
That was indeed.
I mean, we
yep.
said after map number 1, if they played the same way, that could be as quick as that, and it was.
It was indeed 40-6.
40 eliminations
40 to
in
6.
5 rounds. What?
I mean, that he's MVP, but fair enough. I mean, I know what you're tweeting out.
Oh, mate. Match making the graphic already.
What a
5-0. 5-0. Dragons just... I mean, he played phenomenally, but the rest of the team did their job as well. They just hammered them.
Yep.
Absolutely hammered them. Regal Reserve are going back to the drawing board, making a new drawing board, and trying to figure out what the hell went wrong there, because Rated R just literally ran a train through them. That is insane. 5-0 on Vazcar, and 5-0 in the exact same fashion on District, with Dragons just causing so many problems. And wow, I mean, what do you say about that apart from well played to Rated R? Regal Reserve you need to show better next week.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I honestly don't think there's much more breakdown than to say Regal Reserve were not on their game.
No.
Rated R were 100% on their game, and they looked very, very, very good.
You see, it just annoys me. Could they not? I think it's just like, at the same time, we'll say, could they not play like that against the EU's finest? Then we'll have an absolute cracking game. But I think it's obviously a different beast going against the EU's finest. EU's finest do not allow Rated R to find themselves in those positions. Yeah. They play a much smarter round. I think one of those games where you're playing against Rated R, maybe it's a case of slowing it, trying to slow it down, or figuring out how to slow it down. If you try and match them fire with fire, it just doesn't seem to work. But let's have a look at the league standings. Of course, the EU's finest sitting at the tippity top, as we did expect. Rated R in second after that absolute pasting of Regal Reserve. Now so minus 12 rounds after that one, because they've just took a massive minus. And that actually could make a difference towards the end of the season. You know, I mean, these rounds do count. It's some way down the line. I'm not an admin, so I'm not going to try and decide whereabouts they count, but they do count. That's why they're there. Minus 12 rounds after that one. They were only sitting at minus 2 before today.
Yeah, it's a huge drop, isn't it? I mean, they're now at the bottom. Obey were... we're sitting there before this game, and even on 0, Obey still doing better on that round difference. We expected that first game to be, the very, very one-sided one.
If somebody said to me the way that the previous game went in terms of rounds would happen in the Regal Reserve Rated R game, absolutely. If somebody said to me EU's finest would beat Obey Alliance 5-0, 5-0, I would still be surprised. I would still think that Obey would probably would have gotten a couple of rounds. But I mean, wow, what a performance by Rated R! That was insane.
You can't ask much more. Fantastic performance, and they'll be very, very happy with that one, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, super happy. Anyway, that is a very, very quick show today. 2 hours and 15 minutes. We've got through both those two games there. That second one was over in the blink of an eye. The highlights video will be coming tomorrow. It's going to be a short one, I tell you that. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.